So tell us a little bit more about how you got involved in 7th Street Theater.
Oh, yes, I would love to get into that. So,
The lights are on, the curtain's up. This is Steps to the Stage.
And welcome to Steps to the Stage Drama Department. This is episode 1. This is trailer. This is meet your host. This is, as a podcast, we're really excited that we are finally moving into this realm. We've been talking about this. It's been in our discussion, in our description, on the website from the beginning, on all of our social media. Welcome, everyone. My name's Kirk Lane, producer, engineer, sometimes host, and I am so excited to have Giorgio. Bum, 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 bum.
yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. This is pretty exciting for us. A couple weeks ago, we were here at the theater, and
Yes.
the 7th Street Superstars were rehearsing, and we were recording the episode for the Three on the Edge Festival that was just happening. And before we started, I went in, asked obviously Miss Donna and Miss Jessie if it was okay if I go in, and they said yes, and came up and said, "Hey, I want to talk to you before the end of the day, end of the morning, end of your rehearsal." A short time later, you came in to where we're recording, which is we're actually in the women's dressing room at the theater. So oddly enough, it's got carpet and it's got wigs and it's got some clothes and stuff.
A lot of stuff.
It's while it's a little weird sometimes recording here, it's actually great from a sound perspective. But you came in here and we had a discussion, and we'd asked if you're interested in coming on board to be a host for what is going to be our latest endeavor, and that's Steps to the Stage, because we want to keep that same name and that same focus, because that's really what it all started about, is Steps to the Stage, and obviously moving to drama department. And for drama department, our goal was to just really, more than anything, highlight specifically the high school drama departments in the area. But we also have a number of junior colleges and colleges that have very active drama departments, very active theater departments. And what's great is we actually have 7th Street Theater alumni that are going into college and getting their degrees and moving on and doing regional theater and doing Broadway and doing movies, doing everything else. And so, that needed to be highlighted. And
Absolutely.
And so we had some discussions, and we had familiarity with you from your time with a couple of the productions that were done here at 7th Street Theater, and then also being involved with the Superstars. And you just have an energy about you, and which is positive, and you have a very obvious love for acting and everything about it, whether it's on stage, whether it's choir, whether it's at school, whether it's here, whether it's with the Superstars troupe, whether it's auditions that are happening in LA, Hollywood, Burbank, things of that nature, they're happening. So I have been talking for so much, but that just really is hopefully shows those that are listening out there the excitement. Giorgio, introduce yourself.
Thank you so much. My name is Giorgio Haddad. I am 17 years old. I've been acting for quite some time. Let me backtrack here. So when I was a kid, I would like to joke around a lot and, do all sorts of fun stuff with my family. And my mom was like, "Well, you should be an actor." And I'm like, "Ew, why would I want to be such a creature of an actor?" And she was like, "Trust me, one day you're going to do it." And I was like, okay. So I went on to different careers, like music. So I did violin. I did some soccer, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, boxing for a little bit. But for some reason, it didn't click to me until my sophomore year of high school, where I was, in school. One of my friends, she told me, she was like, "You should join theater."
And you go to school locally?
I go to school locally. Yes, that's correct. At Chino High School.
I go
to Chino High School.
All right.
Being a theater kid, and theater kids are weird. Why would I want to do that? And honestly, I was the biggest hater, and I couldn't be more wrong, because now I am a theater kid.
Yeah,
and I'm proud to be one.
Yeah.
So my first, theater audition. I walked in the room and it was nerve-wracking because I didn't know what to do. They just handed me a script and they're like, read this. And then I see people doing accents and stuff. And I was like,
right.
Should I, bounce off of them? And so I did it. And then the director was like, wow. He's like, kid, you got talent. And I was like, dude, I just read the lines,
Nice.
So that's when I got casted in my first show.
Okay.
It was called The Plot Like Gravy Thickens. And I played this character called Roy.
Okay.
And he was like this accountant. So I enjoyed it. I met some beautiful, amazing people in the theater company, and I'm grateful for them. And so
and this was at the high school.
This was at the high school.
Okay,
that is
great.
correct.
So it was a theater production at the high school. Okay, I love it. Drama department.
Yes. So shout out to the drama department. But it was amazing ever since then. And we had two schools, actually. We had an old building.
Okay.
And so we were actually performing in a cafetorium.
Got it.
And so it got demolished, and now we have a theater.
And a very nice theater, I'm told. I've yet to attend, but I'm told it's very, very nice.
It's very nice. There's some elements where I'm like, but that's just me being picky.
Yeah, you're gonna find that. And yeah, I travel. For a living, I produce shows, so I travel around and do some corporate shows, and it's different theaters, different venues.
Yeah.
There's some great things, and then there's some things that obviously you wish you could improve. But,
yeah.
But still, it's great. I think, that, I know similar schools are in their multi-purpose room, or,
Right.
it's not in a theater, right?
Yeah.
And just this past weekend, we went to the showcase at the Ontario's theater.
Yes.
And it was amazing to, be in the theater, real theater seats. You're at the angle. You've got a full stage. You've got an actual drape. You've got an amazing sound system, amazing lighting system. There's something to that. I know we do some amazing things on our little stage here, but man, when you get into those big venues and those big theaters, it definitely, I'd say it ups the game a little bit.
Yeah.
Ups the game a little bit.
100%. I was honestly very shocked when I went. I said, "You guys have automatic curtain openers or like a machine." I was shocked. I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
At a high school.
At a high school.
So you're younger. Your parents take you to some auditions. You run into a little bit of disappointment there. You get a little bit older. You're in high school. You audition. You get a role, and then what happens from there? Where does your theater journey take you, and where does your acting journey take you? Because I know it goes beyond just the theater.
Well, I'm very blessed and fortunate that it gotten better. And so we've transferred to our news building, and it got finished. And our first production was in a black box theater. I got casted in 4 roles.
Wow.
And so I would play 1 role one night and then 3 the other.
Right.
It was very fun, and it was the closest I've been to an audience, especially. Okay. I was probably 10 feet away.
Yeah.
I wasn't even,
So you're really getting that energy of the audience.
Yes.
Right. So there's the difference between a smaller theater and the bigger theater. Bigger theater, obviously, it's great to have, all of those modern conveniences and the tech, but there is something, because what are we up there for, right? We're hoping to enact an emotion, right, out in the audience. And so when you're in close, that can change your performance a little bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was honestly terrified.
Yeah. Well.
And I was like, I got to stick to the script. And so it was good. We did a production of that. It was called Ghostlight.
Okay.
So I've enjoyed it. The company have enjoyed it. And so we were actually the first theater company of the new building.
Okay.
So it felt very, I felt very honored. And I was like, this feels nice.
Paving the way for future actors.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
And then we were waiting for the main stage theater to finish construction.
Okay.
And they did around March, I think, or January. And so we had our first play, which was called Our Town by Thorne Wilder.
I love it. They did a production of it here a few years back.
Yes, I've seen. I was like,
it was amazing.
Goodness. And I got casted as George Gibbs the year before. I was like, oh my goodness, George Gibbs is a lead. I've never played a lead ever before. I've only played a supporting lead. So thanks to my director, and he's given me so many opportunities, and I'm very, very grateful from the bottom of my heart that he's given me these opportunities. So I performed the show, and it was and it was incredible. The cast and crew was amazing as well. So shout out to the tech and crew as well. They don't get enough spotlight.
Yeah, you are preaching to the choir here. This whole podcast started out with learning how to make a production, and it was very important for us when we did our first episodes to make sure we talked about lighting, we talked about audio, we talked about set design, we talked about how those are as much a character as any actor is, right?
Yeah.
And how it's if you go as an audience member, right, you want to walk through the door and you want to kind of leave that world behind, and you want to turn, and when the lights come on, you want to feel like you're in the play or in the musical. So we agree 100%. Obviously, that's everything that goes into a production is so important, and it supports the actors that are on stage, right? If you know you have that support, you know you have a solid, stage manager that's running things, and you know things are going to be taken care of, quick changes, all that other good stuff in the back. So anyway, go ahead.
Absolutely. Like I think that it's like the lifeline of the whole show, and the tech is back there, working their butts off. Like I see them, they're sweating, and I'm like, I feel bad. And so shout out to the techs and all the stage grips. You guys do an amazing job and make a whole difference.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit more about how you got involved in 7th Street Theater.
Oh, yes. I would love to get into that. So after my junior year, we got done with Lion King Jr., the production. Okay. I was like, I want to do more acting. I don't want to stay home, rotting in bed. And I was like, I want to do more acting, I can't get enough of it. And so one of my friends, he was like, hey man, like, have you checked out the community theater? And I was like, no, I honestly, I haven't. He was like, all right, here. He prints me the contracts. He prints me all the conflict dates. And I was like, I don't know this show. And by the way, this show is called Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, the musical.
Wonderful. Yes.
I had no idea. I'm sorry, Miss Allison, if you're listening to this, and Miss Marley Lay. I had no idea. I know Percy Jackson. I had no clue there was a musical.
Right.
And so I was like, all right, I'll audition for Grover. I think I have the hair, but I don't know if I have him, particular, like, the character. So I went in and, I enjoyed the audition, every process of it. The directors made it 50,000 times better. I was very comfortable.
That's great.
And then after the auditions, I was like, I think I did good. I wasn't very confident I got any sort of role. And then I get a call from Miss Allison, and she sends my mom a voice message because I didn't answer my phone. I fell asleep right after I got back home. And so I give her a call back, and she goes, hi, we would love to offer you the role as Hades and Gabe and ensemble. And I was like, okay. And the first thing that I asked from the top of my head, and I feel so dumb, so it's so funny. I was like, who's on stage the longest? And there was this long pause, and Miss Allison was like, I'm offering you both roles, right? And I was like, I'll take both then. And she was like, okay, perfect.
Nice.
And then from there, rehearsals, I met some amazing people.
Yeah.
At the community theater, and I felt very welcomed.
Great.
With open arms, and it was like a second family. So I enjoyed it. The production was amazing and very memorable.
And so how would you compare a production at a community theater versus your high school theater?
Oh, see, now that's the real question. I got a lot. Well, the difference is that it's all depending on the directors, I would say. So the environments are obviously, they're different because one's at a community, the other one's at school. So at school, it's right after we get done our academic learning, and so we're all exhausted. But it's also, I think, there's more etiquette at the community theater.
Okay. Because
everyone is still respectful no matter how stressed they are, and if they were, they would apologize. This one time during the show, Miss Allison was stressed out, but no one knew. And she thought everyone saw her, and she goes, oh, guys, I'm so sorry. And we're like, we didn't even know you were frustrated.
Nice.
But it shows, the director cares and stuff. However, at high school, when people are frustrated, people tend to take it out on people a lot. Yeah. And I see it. So it happens.
Drama
sometimes.
Upon drama.
It's right in the name,
Drama in the drama department.
But, yeah, I just think that there needs to be more a little bit of more etiquette at a high school. Because again, it's a high school after all. But there'll be like some times where like I won't even have etiquette at high school. So it's including me sometimes too.
But I think this is great. And I think this is one of the reasons why we wanted to start this podcast, right? Is to talk about some of those differences. Yeah. And to have those that get the opportunity to either work in, a community theater or, we have performers here that have performed on the Hollywood Bowl and have, done stuff, here in town, meaning in the LA and Hollywood area. And we've had, we have had many actors that have come from here that have gone on to Broadway and done other regional shows. And, hopefully because there's, I think, more of a focus and more of an outlet for theater than there might have been in the past. And I think a lot of that has come from the popularity of, the Hamiltons and Wicked and Dear Evan Hansen and all of those. I think it's brought a mainstream focus to it, right?
Yeah.
Disney as well has done a great job of creating musicals of their movies as well.
Absolutely.
So I really think with this podcast, what we have the opportunity to do is to give that forum for the drama departments, right? For the schools. And then what happens, Giorgio, is you go from that theater department, you go to a community theater, and then you go to a junior college or a college, and then it just each time it's a whole nother level of etiquette and professionalism and experience,
right?
And you hope that those that have the opportunity to go from one to the other can kind of impart some of those etiquettes and some of that knowledge that's based there. So I think that's one thing we hope to get from this particular podcast that you're going to be hosting is to, go into all the schools. And that really is our goal, is in the Inland Empire. We want to get to Chino, Don Lugo, Chino Hills, Ayala. Claremont has a very active program. And, there's a few others out there that we want to take a look at, and we want to highlight their productions that are going on, but we also want to find out about, hey, what are your resources and how is the community helping, or how is your boosters helping? I know I've been really involved with my kids, and one is just graduated with a theater production degree, and one's going into college with a theater major as well. So, for me, as a parent, I want to make sure that they have, a job to go to, right? Because it's there's a lot that's out there, and I'd like to segue in. I know I've seen you post several times. It's not just theater. I've seen you go and audition for roles, and I would assume they're either for movies or for television, or tell us more about that in that process.
So thank you. I would love to talk about it. So it was during December and during Christmas break, and I was laying in bed and I'm like, okay, I want to be in a movie. And my mom was like, oh, okay, how are you going to do that? And so it started off, I downloaded this one app. It's called Backstage. Okay. And I got this year's subscription thingy, and I started submitting a lot of stuff. And then I got called back for this one movie. I'm not really sure what the details were about it. But I went, and it was filmed in Venice Beach High School, and it was my first somewhat role. I played it was an extra role. It was a stoner. Cool. So my mom got like upset. She goes, "Why did you have to play this one guy? He's smoking." And I'm like, I wasn't even smoking. It felt nice, in front of a camera, and it felt very scary.
Yeah.
Seeing a camera, I was pretty intimidated by it.
Yeah.
But the director was lovely, and hey, there was free food. I'm already sold. I was like, oh, okay.
Craft services, baby.
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
Nice.
And then another one was like through a communication, my friend. Okay. He told me, he was like, oh, this one guy, he's directing this one movie, you should text him. And I was like, texting him, he's not going to respond. He literally responded. I texted him, he responded, and, it all worked out. We haven't figured out the filming dates yet. Right. But I think just the joy of being on set is just seeing how it's done.
Yeah.
With like the mics and the camera, and honestly, the funny
lighting.
Oh yeah, I thought I would have been like more into the acting. I'm intrigued in how it's made. Yeah, and it's so cool seeing.
Well, especially since you have so many different opportunities nowadays with real sets versus a virtual set, right?
Right,
or something that's going to be CGI. So you've got a little bit of both. And CGI has gotten to the point now where it's hard to tell what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
Right? But it's good to kind of see all of the different formats. And, going back to you, I think it's great that you've had this involvement in these different projects, movies, television. And I feel like you're going to do some more, and I feel like you're going to audition some more.
Yes.
And, you took the experience from high school and you've done some community theater. You got involved. Tell me about the 7th Street Superstars. You're a part of that as well.
Oh yes, the funny story behind how I got into it was this was the last day of auditions.
Okay.
And my mom was driving me back from my friend's house, and I was on the road, and it was like 11:30. My friend Sebastian, who was also in Superstars,
okay,
he sends me a text. He goes, "Hey, are you auditioning for Superstars?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's that one group." I was like, "Yeah, I'll audition tomorrow." He's like, "No, dude, it's at midnight. You better hurry it up." I told my mom, I'm like, "You better step on the gas. I got to audition."
Midnight or noon?
At midnight. It was 12 a.m. Like,
when he called you.
Well, he called me. He texted me like around 11.
Oh, got it.
So it was nighttime, and I got home, and I was so exhausted. I was like, should I? And so I was like, what's the best monologue I could pull off? And I'm like, okay, Haunted Mansion, Disneyland.
Nice.
I'm like, okay, that's a pretty solid one. What song should I do? I did Suddenly Seymour from Little Shop of Horrors because I had my blue light glasses. I was like, okay. But
you had to submit a video of it by midnight. That's what you're referring to.
Yes.
Sorry, I wasn't quite connecting the dots.
Sorry, no, it was my mistake.
Okay.
But it progressively got worse because my video was not uploading and it was past 12. So I kept texting Miss Donna and she was like, no, it's fine. And then I got to, the in person and, it went good. And then,
great.
I'm blessed to be part of Superstars. It's, my first and last year, but I've learned a lot and I'm very grateful. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's good that you got at least a year. And I know it's been fantastic. I know we've had many guests that have been on here, and Colin and Joey have both been a part of the Superstars group. So we did a nice episode with Superstars as well. So but I'm glad you got that opportunity because I think you're working with other very motivated and dedicated actors. And some that have been here for a while and some that are new to the program and are new to some of the productions that are here. So I think it's good that you have that mix and that you can also bring the experience that you have from high school and the experience you have from doing the stuff in Hollywood and Burbank and in that area where you're filming. So I think you've got a wide breadth of experience, but I especially, again, as I'd mentioned before, your passion for it, I think is what we're really excited about. And as you'd mentioned, learning, and I think it'll be great for these other drama departments in these other schools to get the chance to interact with you and just, expand that community as well, because there's other great theaters, community theaters as well, which is another podcast that we're looking to move into to cover more of the Inland Empire outside of our wonderful theater here. But it's a great tool and it's a great communication. For us, we get information out and hopefully we get more people to come to our productions and we want to extend that same service out to the drama departments and then obviously to the other theaters that are in the Inland Empire. So because you never know. You never know what's going to happen. It's like I said, there's been many people that have been on this stage here in particular that have gone on and done some pretty amazing things, not just from the perspective of, popularity or being on a movie or being in TV or whatever else, but so many of them that come back and either teach or they direct, or they stage manage, or they act in the adult theater as well.
Yeah.
So I love the community that this has, theater in general, specifically our theater, we're biased as well, but we know there's other great programs out there, which is why you're here, so that we can learn more about the other schools and the other programs. So, well, it's been fantastic to get to know you. We are very, very excited about getting this project off. And we're very excited about, getting some plans together over the summer and then, really hitting it hard next year. And I believe you and I had a discussion and you just recently graduated, correct?
Yep, I recently graduated.
And so schooling is going to continue and possibly theater's going to continue?
Absolutely. Schooling, definitely. Theater for sure. There's a lot of auditions. I've landed this one role in this found footage. I think it's a horror film. I'm not sure. More to come on that one, but I'm so excited. But
all good.
Yeah, thank you so much. Theater's been a very big changed my life. And
Yep.
movies, acting, performing arts, I look at it as like a live form of art. It's like looking at a painting that's moving.
Yep.
And it's just such a beautiful way of telling a story. And it's a great way.
I agree 100%. And that's why we started this podcast. And that's why we're really excited about growing this podcast. Believe me, we didn't even think we would get to this point. But the fact that we're talking about branching out to drama department and then branching out to Inland Empire Steps to the Stage is pretty exciting for us and excited to bring you on, obviously, not only because of your experience, but again, the energy that we think you're going to bring to it. So thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to it. And don't forget to subscribe to all of our social media channels. Please also follow us, and leave reviews on your favorite podcast platform. It really does make a difference. And also writing reviews on the social medias, and share and tell your friends. Thanks, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thanks for listening to Steps to the Stage, and now it's time for the curtain call. You can follow us on Spotify, Apple, Google, or any podcasting platform. We have videos up on YouTube, and you can visit our website at stepstothestage.buzzsprout.com. And as always, a special thank you to our audio engineer, Joey Rice, and our producer, Kirk Lane. Without the two of you, this show would not be possible.